What is up, guys? Marcellus Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, here to educate you on health, fitness, social well-being, and this is the final episode of Time to Build, guys. Today's video is going to be very simplistic. What you're going to see on screen is a week worth of training footage, so you guys can kind of see what my current mesocycle looks like. It's not drastically different from my last mesocycle, but I'll kind of take you guys through what some of the differences are, as well as explain to you guys kind of what my goals are going to be now that the series is done as far as my training leading into my upcoming meet, and then you guys are going to see a physique update at the very end. Now, the only day that you guys aren't going to see is going to be day 4, my Wednesday workouts, which is my higher volume bench and upper body day workout, just because I didn't get around to recording it. But you guys will be seeing that today. I'll be recording that today before I go on a little trip to College Station, which you guys will see exactly what I'm doing in that area in the next video. But long story short, guys, on this day, it's very similar to what my Saturday day 1 workouts were already like. Instead of working up to a top set of 3 and a top set of 2, I work up to a top set of 4 and a top set of 3. On this day, they were both at RPE 6. My set of 4 was with 331 pounds, and my set of 3 was with 348 pounds. And then I had 3 back down sets of 5 with 315 pounds. Once again, like last mesocycle, my top sets are RPE based, and then my back down sets are based off a certain percentage. So everything's a little bit more higher volume. Even on my deadlifts, instead of working up to just a top set of 2, I work up to a top set of 3, which you guys can see right here with 464 pounds. And basically, the goal, guys, is to essentially end up hitting the numbers that I did on the last cycle, but for higher reps. So it's more total volume, more total workload, and I really think that I'm on track for doing that right now, as you guys are going to see as the workout footage continues. I'm just feeling really good. The one thing that I've realized that I only realized a couple of days ago, so you're not going to so much see in this video, is that I do have my belt too tight for the deadlifts. Tightening it up for squats is perfect, but I still need a little bit looser for my deadlifts just to probably get in position, which you guys are going to notice, especially when you see day 1 of week 2 from this past weekend. That's when you're really going to see with my heavier loads on deadlifts that, yeah, the belt's just too tight for me to properly do my hip shoot and get in position. So I'm going to be loosening that up again for my deadlift. So I'm glad that I figured that out. Now on this day, day 2, it's my higher intensity bench day. So I have 2 sets. Once again, a set of 4 and a set of 3. I did my set of 4 with 270 pounds on this day. And then I did my set of 3 with 281 pounds. And both were supposed to be at an RPE 7, but they honestly moved like RPE 6s, which I'm really excited about. I'm very happy to see the progression with my bench, especially since adjusting my grip and having to get used to it. It feels really, really natural at this point. Like, it no longer is anything I really have to think about. I can just get set up, get tight, get retracted and depressed, and bench press, and it feels really good. And then my back down sets were with 200, and they're supposed to be 240 pounds, 242 technically, just due to kilograms, and it just feels great. I remember that when I first started working with Brandon using this new grip, even 240 pounds felt kind of difficult, which was really frustrating for me at first, just because, you know, to go from being able to, like, you know, rep with my old grip in the 300s with little to no issues to struggling with anything under 200 was very frustrating, but it's definitely all been paying off as my bench feels better than what it's ever felt right now. And then after my 3x5 back down sets, I have 2 sets of 3 long pause bench. So this is just 226 pounds for 2 sets of 3 with the 3 count pause. And then after that, you know, I have the same accessory work: control pull-ups, chest supported row of choice, dumbbell overhead press, etc. So then the next day, Tuesday, my day 3 workouts are competition squats. I work up to a top set of 6. On this day, I worked up to a top set of 6, RP 6. Start off pretty moderate, which is 315 pounds to kind of fill it out. And then I'll have 2 back down sets of 8. Now that's only for this first week. Going forward, and including yesterday going forward, I actually will normally have 3 back down sets of 8. Once again, just really ramping up the volume, really trying to get as much adaptation as I can as I'm building strength leading into my meet. I'm currently a little under 10 weeks out. So at the point of this workout footage, it's actually like 11 weeks out, but at this point I'm a little under 10 weeks out. And you guys are about to see my back down sets. And it's also now on this mesocycle the first time that I can squat 3 times a week with no issues, guys. So, like, you know, the little hip bursitis or whatever was flaring up with my hip, we assume it was hip bursitis, but like there's no issue with it anymore. So we definitely handled that well. Like I said, it never actually stopped me from squatting, but the fact that we took a little bit of time away from squats and then we reintroduced the movement, stuck with high bar for a little bit, Got rid of sumo deadlift variations, just things to really give my hip a break. Definitely paid off because I was able to maintain my squat strength, and now I'm at the point where I can really start pushing and building it again. So I'm definitely excited about that, and that's just something to take away, guys, when it comes to these injuries. Not so much that it was like a full-on like injury, like say it didn't stop me from doing anything, but when you're feeling certain pains, certain issues, and they persist or they're getting worse, pull back. It's a lot smarter to pull back, figure out what's causing it, figure out what's wrong, address it, and kind of work around it rather than just trying to push through it, because that way you're going to be better off in the long run. So like I said, I'm at the point now where I'm squatting 3 times a week, no pain, no issues, and I can really start building back towards what I want with my squat. And then on this day, guys, after squats, I just do Romanian deadlifts. I'm no longer pulling competition style, conventional twice a week, just because it's really taxing on the nervous system and it's really taxing on my recovery, especially now I'm squatting 3 times a week. So rather than squatting twice and pulling twice, I'm only pulling competition style once, squatting 3 times a week, but then doing Romanian deadlifts as a variation, just to still get in some work on the muscle groups and to get in some type of variation of a pull on a secondary day. You guys notice that what I'm really focused on when I'm doing these Romanian deadlifts is simply pushing my hips back as far as I can, and when I can no longer stick that butt back any further, I come back up. A lot of people have a tendency of letting their backs do more of the work, because when they get to that point where they can't stick their hips back anymore, they try to use their back to lower themselves even further to get that deeper stretch, but that's not the way you want to go about a Romanian deadlift. The focus is hinging at the hips. When you can no longer push those hips back any further, you need to come back up so that you can maintain that back tightness. Then, like I said, guys, day 4 is actually not recorded. You guys will be seeing that in a future video. So this is actually what day 5 looks like. And day 5 is pretty much just a day to get more volume in and more technique. I just have 4 sets of 6 with 295 pounds. This is technically 297 pounds. And that's what I'm going to be doing for this entire mesocycle on this 3rd day to get used to squatting 3 times a week again. It's just 4 sets of 6 with 295 pounds. And then after this, you're going to see that I'm doing the same thing for bench, comp style benching for 4 sets of 6 with 220 pounds, or 221 when it comes to kilograms. And that's what it's going to be for this 3rd day the entire time. It's just another day to work on the movement, really work on technique, and to get more total volume in. Because once again, guys, even though yes, you want to have a certain amount of intensity when you're training for strength so that you can keep your fitness high, fitness in this case being, working with heavier loads, getting ready for preparing for 1 rep maxes. Volume, ultimately, as Brendan has made very clear in a lot of his videos and is constantly always expressing to all of his athletes, volume is what's going to dictate adaptation. The more volume that you can handle, the more adaptation that you're going to get, and the more strength you're going to potentially build. But once again, everything's feeling really good. Mind you, like I said, on day 4 is actually my higher volume bench workout, and then I'm benching again on day 5. So that's another reason why the weight is staying relatively light, just because it's benching 2 days in a row, which I know a lot of you guys have had questions about. I've tried to answer in the comments, but basically, like I said, guys, it's all about what you can recover from a weekly basis. Benching a secondary day lighter isn't anything that's been hindering me. And now I want to show you guys right here, guys, just some of my accessory work. I wanted to show you guys this because these are actually mile reps, so I can kind of explain what they are briefly. Brendan has a great video over this as far as all the benefits. I'm just going to give you guys a quick rundown of how it works. So you can do this with your isolation movements, or with accessory work that's not like a very huge complex movement like the squat or the deadlift. This is something you can do like with machine work, cable rows, machine rows, and isolation movements. So what you guys just saw is that I did a set of 20 with the weight that I can do for a set of 20. After that, guys, you literally rest just 10 to 15 seconds, and then you just go do a burnout. You go to failure, and you're gonna do 3 to 4 clusters. So it's pretty much just one big set, but it's in 3 to 4 clusters. So you pick a weight that you can do 15 to 20 reps with, then you rest 10 to 15 seconds, and then you just go to failure. Then you rest 10 to 15 seconds, you go to failure again, rest 10 to 15 seconds, go to failure again. You can do this for 3 to 4 total sets. And guys, it humbled me very quickly. I'm somebody where with these lateral raises, I'm only using 20 pounds, and you guys can see how difficult it was by that last set. And usually I can do for at least sets of 8 to 10, 30 pounds on lateral raises. Pretty strict. Right here, I'm doing the same thing with tricep press downs. I believe I only had 60 or 70 pounds on the stack. Usually, depending on where the gym is and what type of machinery it is, I can do at least minimum of 100 pounds on the stack, if not the entire stack, depending on what type of machine it is. But right, with this, guys, to get the 20 reps and then go to do the burnouts right after, I believe it was only working with like 60 or 70 pounds on this. And you guys are gonna notice after that first set of 20, I think I can usually get about like 8 to 10 on the second set, and then after that for like the third and fourth, it's literally just like 5 to 7 reps, and that's it. And that's why I said it's really humbling. But it's a great way to train isolation moves and accessory work, especially for people who feel like they don't have as much time in the gym. You get the benefits of pushing those muscle fibers to failure, but you're not going to be in the gym, doing like 3 to 4 sets of each isolation movement as well. Because like I said, it's pretty much just one big set with 3 to 4 clusters. We're only resting 10 to 15 seconds between each cluster, and it works out really well. It's a fun way of just changing it up, and it's an excellent example of how to properly use going to failure. Like I said, you guys know that I'm big on progressive overload and using normal straight sets with your bigger movements, so you can actually track progression. And even with my isolation movements, I'm still tracking my progression in the sense of whatever weight that I'm using for this current mesocycle, I'll probably just bump that up by 5 pounds on each movement during the next training cycle. So there's still that progression, but like I said, training to failure is something that works better for your accessory work, your isolation movements at the end, for just really pushing those muscle fibers to the brink, since you've already stimulated a lot of growth adaptation with your bigger compound movements. But it's not something that I'm a fan of when it comes to like your squat, your bench, your deadlift. There really isn't a need to just try to push the failure on those movements, just because of the effect it's going to have on your overall recovery, and the fact that it's a lot harder to accurately track your progression as far as sets, reps, and weights if you're just going in there putting a random weight on and just doing as much as you can every single time. But this, like I said, is a great way of how to actually incorporate going to failure. So if you guys haven't ever tried my reps, definitely suggest looking up Brendan's video over it so you can see the different benefits of it, both mental and physical, and then give it a try. I definitely am enjoying it. Like I said, it's just a fun way to change things up as far as my accessory work. Now, what you guys are about to see now is this past weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So day 1 being Saturday, just kind of showing you where I'm at in terms of the progression, so you can see an example from week to week. So on this day, same thing, worked up to a top set of 4 and 3, but on this day, my top set of 4 was with 341 pounds, and my top set of 3 is with 358 pounds. And I felt amazing this day, guys, as far as squats. Like, just from being able to squat 3 times a week again and doing the movement more, it feels more natural. My warm-ups felt great, mobility work's feeling great, and just from, once again, practicing the movement more often, it feels more natural. It doesn't feel like oh, it's been 2 or 3 days since I've last squatted. I have to kind of get readjusted to the movement. Not that it's the same thing as taking a week or 2 off from it, but just the more consistently you do something, the more second nature it becomes. And that's what I'm already feeling now that I'm back to squatting 3 times a week, and it just feels great. And then I did my back down sets with 325 pounds, so 10 pounds more than last week. Like I said, the back down sets go up a little bit each week on this day, just based upon a certain percentage. And then of course I'm trying to push my top sets a little bit further too, just based upon the RPE. Last week was RPE 6, and then this past weekend I worked up to RPE 7, but both of these honestly felt more like RPE 6s, so I'm realizing that I can push things a little bit more. I've been trying to be really conservative to make sure I don't overshoot my RPEs, but I'm not trying to really undershoot right now either. I want to kind of if there's any time where I can be a little bit aggressive and push it, it's right now when I'm still about 10 weeks out from the meet, whereas when I get closer to it, I want to be really on point as far as those RPEs. Now this is where you guys are going to notice, like I said, having my belt too tight on the deadlift, and that's why after this day I realized, okay, tighter on squats, a little bit looser on the deadlifts, because you're going to see, guys, on my first rep, getting into position isn't too bad, but then after that, you're going to notice it's a lot harder for me to actually properly get in position, especially when I'm trying to do my usual hip shoot. I just can't quite get in position the way that I want, and that's where you're going to notice on this third rep, I don't even bother trying to do the hip shoot. I just go right into pulling to the bar. Still make sure I have the slack out, maintaining tightness and positioning, but at this point I know that I need to loosen it up. So on my back down sets, you guys are going to see my positioning looks a lot better and a lot smoother, and that's simply because I loosened the belt up. So like I said, for those of you who may be wondering, like I said, you want your belt tight enough to where you can push against it and properly brace it, but more than likely your belt can be a little bit tighter on the squat just because you're in an upright position versus the deadlift when you're kind of more in a bent over position, at least for conventional. I know some sumo pullers have their belts on the same setting just because you're more upright in the sumo, but even some of my friends that I talked to said that they have their belt a little bit looser on their sumos as well. Now bench felt absolutely amazing on this day, guys. You guys saw me do 276 pounds for my set of 4. It was supposed to be RP 7, moved it to RP 6, so then I just went to my triple with 287 pounds for a set of 3 at RP 7, moved it to RP 6. So went up one more time to 293 pounds for my RP7, and this still moved like an RP6, but I called it there just because I didn't want to keep, pushing it too much. There isn't a need to, but I'm just really happy, guys, with where my bench is at right now. So just had to elaborate on that, show you guys the gains that your boy is making. And those of you who've been keeping up with my training know that, like I said, the new grip just took me a while to get used to, but now it's feeling great. Back down sets don't feel like anything. Even my long pause sets don't feel like everything. Like everything's just moving really well and really smooth. But yeah, that's pretty much catching you guys up on this week's worth of training. Now that's done, we can get to the part that a lot of you probably care about for whatever weird reason, and that is my physique update. So this physique update is from yesterday morning. There's not any special lighting, no pump, nothing like that. Trying to be as transparent as I can be with you guys. All you guys are going to notice that my calves were cropped out of this. I actually promise you that was not done purposely. It's just where I set the camera up. My goal was to make sure my head wasn't chopped off, and it just worked out to where my calves weren't in it because there's really nothing much to show there. But anyway, for those of you who don't know, I started my lean mass phase off at 158 pounds. And that was back towards the end of August. Got up to about 170, 172 pounds. And then just within maybe the past couple of months have just been gradually coming back down to where I'm now sitting at 163.8 pounds, sometimes 165, on my heavier days, but I'm right where I want to be, guys, because 163.5 is the top of the 74 kilogram weight class that I compete in. So I'm right where I want to be for this upcoming meet. And all in all, yeah, guys, I'm happy with my overall body composition. Definitely not quite as lean as what I was, a little bit thicker. Probably, carrying a little bit more body fat on me as well, but I know that I've gained a little bit of size as well, especially since showing you guys my last physique update. But yeah, this is pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much it for the video and it for the series. I know I said I was going to go over kind of my goals for my upcoming meet, but I think I'm just going to say that for the next video. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and leave a comment down below, let me know what you did. If you did not, leave a comment down below, let me know what I can do to get better. Like the video, share, subscribe, keep it simple, specific, scientific, and I'll catch y'all later.